which is slide
Okay, everyone. Welcome once again to Inevitable Instructors. We have some off-screen chatter. Shush. So today we are talking about battle pets. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Grid and Shaomai. And they can tell us about battle pets.
Yay, battle pets.
Okay, what are battle pets? Battle pets are cute companions that are smaller versions sometimes of the big bad things that you encounter in World of Warcraft. They are sort of a game within a game, and I think it kind of helps you to get better with the game sometimes because it helps you with the strategic thinking and in how you acquire them and use them. Battle pets provide quests. They provide achievements that are individual at this time. They do not give any points to your guild, so I think we need to write Blizzard about that one. Mm-hmm. They do provide XP, and you can, your toon can level up with battle pet achievements. They are account bound, so if one toon gets them, they all get them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Did you want to add anything, Jerry?
No, just a comment. That's nice.
Okay.
But it is fun leveling up a toon and having some of the pets be able to run with you that you wouldn't otherwise have gotten.
Yeah. Okay, so what kind of battle pets do we have? On the next slide, we have battle pets come in a large variety of skills. And it kind of, to me, sort of, it mirrors the race and class thing of the bigger game. So these are kind of all your possibilities of pets, and each one of those possibilities has a specific skill set, and they're better used for battling other pets. So the one that I've really struggled with is the beast and the I don't have the critter up here. Oh my goodness, I forgot the critter.
How would you forget the critters?
How could we forget the critters? Because the critters are pretty, populous, and what they advise is to get a mechanical pet and a critter pet first because they're sort of all around. The beasts are a little harder to beat, and biologically I'm not quite sure what the difference is between a beast, because I think like the cockroach is a critter but an elephant is a beast. So but there are some warm-blooded animals that are critters. I think a biology teacher would be kind of freaked out about the whole thing. But there are a large variety, and they all have distinct abilities, and they are all better suited. And as you learn to play with them, you'll learn which one works best with something else. And we were remiss in not including the critter, which is a very important pet. Okay. Now, when you get a pet, it has.
Well, actually, if I could interrupt a little bit, if you guys are looking at my, for those of you watching. If you look at my screen, you will see that when you click on a pet, it tells you what type of pet is in the upper right-hand corner. So you can see if it's a flying pet or if it's a critter. And so you see that up there in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah. Well, and this gets relevant if you're, one of the nice things, one of the fun things about the pets, at least for me, is that it's a part of that whole collecting aspect of the game. So if you like the little collection type activities, you can get it really heavily into collecting pets for each of the families or types or classes of pets. There's usually several types, and they're scattered all throughout Azeroth. So that can be a fun aspect of it, just apart from the battling itself.
Right. So if you see the slide now that has basically an enlarged portion of the pet profile, you can see that this particular pet, it'll tell you the level of the pet, whether it's rare, common, I should say rare, uncommon, common, or poor, because you can get the pet at various levels. It has a little status bar telling you how far along the way it is to reaching the next level. It has the skills and abilities, and it does not acquire all of those skills and abilities until it gets a particular level. In this case, it's a little lower, so all the I think, what is it? It's a 12. This little tiny harvester is a level 12, so it hasn't yet acquired some of it. At level 15, it'll get more skills, and then at level 20, it'll have all of its skills. It is a mechanical, and a mechanical is advised to be one of your first pets because it's a pretty feisty thing. And it's interesting, this one is mechanical because it looks like a human, so maybe it could be humanoid. So you really do have to look at the profile. So regardless of what it might look like, the attributes really you have to go into the profile to see what the attributes are. And then, of course, you can see the health, the power, and the speed. And all of those things, just like with your tune, make a difference when they go into battle. And I think we can go on to the next.
Oh, great!
Jerry?
Yeah, could you explain the significance of the ratings of poor, common, uncommon, rare? What does that mean for us?
Okay, well, a rare is a better, obviously, it's like any collection. So if it's a rare stamp or a rare baseball card, it's certainly better than a poor condition baseball card or stamp. It is tougher. It is a better pet to have, and I personally concentrate on getting my rares up, and I don't really. I have a bunch of if I capture a poor pet, and it's an uncommon thing to get, I'll keep it, or if I don't have any others. But as soon as I get a rare, I let the poor ones go, because I don't want a bunch of poor pets in my collection, because they get beat very easily and they don't do you any good. And later on, we're going to talk about how you can level them up and how a poor can become a rare, which is a good thing to have. I do have one poor, by the way, that elemental, that feral, that rock guy, which he's very, very difficult to get, and he's a poor quality, but I'm hanging on to him because he's so hard to get that even a poor quality one is a good one to have.
Yeah, it's better than none.
Exactly. Did you want to add?
Well, yeah, I mean, Izzy pointed out something too in the chat that the rare, uncommon, common, and poor is kind of like the color code for gear, right? So you have like gray level gear, which would be kind of like poor. Then you got greens and blues and purple, so it's sort of like that. So the more rare or a better quality the pet, the higher its stats. So the more health it has, the more attack power it has, the faster it might be, and so the more effective it might be in actually battling. So that's part of the reason why I think from the battling aspect too, aside from the collecting, that you want to favor as many rare or high-level pets as you can.
Right. Yeah. So again, it mirrors the bigger game. The color coding that they use, just kind of the same way that you play the big game, you can play this little game, like it's a game within a game. Okay, so much for the profile. Moving right along, how do you get pets? And if you turn on the tracking for pets, you can look at your map and you see these little green paws. As well as seeing these little green paws in your map, you see these little critters running around, and they have this little green paw over them. So if they have this little green paw over them, those are pets that you can battle or capture. And that's what we're going to show you in a minute, how to do that. So you can capture pets in pet battle. You can buy them from a vendor. There are some special pets, and sometimes you can't buy them unless you've done some special things. There are Blizzard promotional pets that you can purchase, like the little panda or the phoenix. Maybe Izzy wants to show us his phoenix. You can get them as a drop from, I think tanks get a lot of pets. Maybe, Chris, can you clarify? I think tanks kind of have the ability to get drops when they go into a dungeon and they achieve some cool thing. They will get these little pets, because I know Chris has quite a collection of pets. You can get them as rewards for achieving, and you can also craft pets. I think blacksmiths can craft some kind of a mechanical pet. Do you know of any other ways that you can get pets, Jerry?
Well, the crafting was the newest thing that I learned of. I found that as a jewel crafter, I was able to craft 2 pets. One of them I've done already is this jade owl, and I think there's a sapphire cat that I could craft eventually as well.
Have you crafted it yet?
I have not done the cat. I've done the owl though.
Oh.
And I think engineers can craft at least a few, 2 or 3 different pets, including I think the Personal World Destroyer, unless that's a blacksmithing one.
Okay, I'm looking for a pet
That's
now.
engineer, I believe. And as far as pets dropping in dungeons, they do just randomly drop. The pets I've gotten weren't because necessarily I was a tank. It was more because basically I just happened to be there, and I got lucky with the roll. So, but you can also.
So anyone can get it.
Anyone can get it, and like I said, if you want to have if you have a higher level tune, you can also go and do some of the old raids and solo them, like Molten Core, and pets drop from Molten Core as well. So like the little salamander, the little imp, they all drop from Molten Core. So there's some different things you can do there.
Okay, I'm looking for a pet to capture, and I can't find one up here.
Oh, there's one.
Do you see one?
Not up here. It's southeast of us, down on ground level.
Yeah, because I wanted to kind of demonstrate how you catch one. So I guess we could, while I go down, maybe we can go on to the next slide and kind of talk about why we do it. And I'm going to go downstairs and
why do we do pets?
Why do we capture pets? And I'm going to go downstairs and see if I was down there, and then I came up because of the. All right, I'm going to go downstairs. In the meantime, we can go kind of on to the next slide, and we can talk about why. Oh, or we can talk about how to get started, which is actually the
probably
next
talk
one,
about getting started. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and do the getting started one. And Jerry, why don't you do that one up here while I go downstairs and find a pet to capture, and maybe we can get somebody who hasn't gotten started yet to get started.
Cool.
I believe I'm the guinea pig for.
Yes. So getting started, how to get started with this wild and wonderful activity of pet collecting and pet battling. For Horde, basically you start off in Orgrimmar with Varzok, the battle pet trainer that we have in front of us here. And essentially what happens is that you talk to him, and you pay him 10 gold pieces to basically train you on battle pets or battle pet training. So that's how you gain the skill. And what will happen is that he'll send you on a series of quests, right, to acquire a starter pet and then fight that starter pet. And each race has a specific starter pet. So for the Draenei, it's like a blue moth. For the Blood Elves, it's a Dragonhawk hatchling. For goblins, short crawlers, etc. So you'll have your starter pet. So you'll go through a series of quests and eventually come back to them to after you've, I think, trained pet to level 5, and then after that it's a series of other quests to go and fight other battle pet trainers, level them up, and then at that point you can start to collect wild pets as well. So that's kind of getting started in a nutshell. And I think we have Chris, who's about to demo that and show you that process.
Sure, and I will say that the price does seem to be tied to rep with Ogremar because mine was only 8 gold.
Yeah.
So there is some stuff there. So I learned it. I was able to buy a Jade Crane chick in case I didn't have any pets to battle, and that was only 40 silver. So relatively nice price for a cute little pet there. And then basically says learning the ropes. So now I have to go find something to challenge. And I see there's a beetle that seems to be just down over the ridge here.
So normally in the past, what you would have seen is these different little critters running around without the paw tags on them, and now what happens is that you'll see some of these random paws that designate, like Grid said earlier, pets that you can battle and capture.
So here's one. So I guess I just right-click on it.
Correct. Yep.
You right-click on it, and your UI changes. You get this little pet UI.
My penguin takes on Dung Beetle. Wow.
Mr. Chili.
Mr. Chili. There on a stare down. Mr. Chili seems to have a distinct weight advantage over the Dung Beetle.
And by the way, it's new that of course we're watching in Hangout, but it used to be phased out and nobody used to see the pet battle but the person. But with this new update with Blizzard, you can now watch somebody pet battle.
So it looks like I have a chance. I can look at level 1 critter. The evil critters, according to Grid. I only have one ability, which is peck.
Peck him to death.
I can peck him. And apparently there seems to be areas you can unlock as you level up. And there also seems to be a trap mechanic somewhere.
Right.
And of course, you can throw in the towel and forfeit.
Right. And the trap mechanic will come up at about when you've got the pet at 35%, at the opposite, your opponent at 35%.
My opponent.
Yes.
Okay, go,
Okay,
Mr.
go for
Chili. Peck. Whack. Oh, Dung Beetle fights back. Chili goes again. Ah! Wah! Oh, Dung Beetle misses. Taking advantage of him. Go, Chili.
Okay.
Oh!
All right, now hold it, because the trap should come up.
Nope, trap did not come up.
Didn't come up this time. No, I think what happens is that
It has
in
to
the
be
initial
level 3.
And he leveled.
So that's what happens when it levels. So what you'll notice there too, as the fight progresses, the health bars, the green health bars, will show the damage, right? So that's how you keep track of the damage that's occurring to your pets.
And Mr. Chili gained a lovely second attack called Frost Spit.
So he is well on his way to being a master pet battler.
So now we have go back upstairs, turn a quest, and then he sends me to somebody else. It says heal your pet to full health by visiting Murog, the stable master. So apparently he's the licensed veterinarian that's doing this under the table, so that way they don't lose. He doesn't lose his license for pet fighting. So where is Murad? Oh, here he is. And it costs you 10 silvers? Does that always stay there, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty much a flat rate for repairing your pets.
Okay. Now I get to fly back. Obviously, if you don't have a flying mount, it's lots of running.
Mm-hmm.
And going up and down. Turn that one in. Now he wants me to go fight some more things to get to level 3. Okay. So shall I go on to level 3?
I think we've got the idea. I think that's good. Are there any questions at this point? You can continue this, and then you kind of level up. And as you do this, you didn't capture one yet. So let's.
I cannot capture one until I'm level 3, unless you can.
Okay, so can you look up my screen, because I think I'll try and capture this one. Okay, so here's this little spiny lizard in Ogremore.
Yes, we gotta do that. I feel like I should be doing like Golf Channel. Now Grid approaches the spiny lizard. She's going ahead and selecting which pet she wants to attack with it.
And by the way, I do want you to take notice of this very cute safari hat, which you can own after you get up to a certain level of having pets. I do advise that you take it off when you go into dungeons, because it doesn't give you any kind of power whatsoever.
But it's so pithy.
It's very stylish, and I might be wearing it at the fashion show. It's really cute.
So heads up, all you transmoggers.
Okay, so here I've got this little lizard who's a level 1, and I got this rat coming after him, and the rat's a level 4. So I'm going to swap out the rat, because the level 4 rat is going to kill that level 1 spiny lizard, and I want to capture it. So I'm going to go to this little vermin here that I have that's only a level 1, because it's just now look here, see where it says
that was a cheap shot.
And there's a red arrow on my vermin. So my vermin is not apparently it's a humanoid. Like I told you, the biology in Blizzard's a little weird. The feral vermling is a humanoid, and a humanoid does not do well against a beast. But I'm going to try it anyway. So I'm just going to click here and see. Oh.
Now sometimes that might be a benefit, right, Grid? I mean, if you're really more interested in capturing a particular critter, right? You don't want.
And it's a rare. So this little vermling is a rare, and this one is it's an uncommon. So I'm just gonna, because I don't want to kill it, so I'm gonna try again. And you can see my health is going down. I'll try again. See, I have 3 pets. You always have 3 pets to mess with. So you have 3 shots. So if this one dies, okay, here it is. There, the trap came up. Now I'm going to click on the trap, and I throw the trap, and I've captured yet another pet. And my little vermling leveled. So that's kind of how capturing goes. And sometimes if you hit too hard, you do kill them. And maybe it's one that you want to capture. So in this case, I used a strategy of a pet that was not appropriate to kill that particular pet, because the objective was to capture.
Yeah. No, and I think that's an important part, kind of explaining sort of the game dynamic with battle pets, is that you typically will try to build a team of 3. Right, and you can swap out pets. You have 3 slots to build the team, and what I've found is that you end up swapping out different pets in different combinations depending on what you're trying to do. So, if I'm really after capturing, what I'll tend to do is put pets in that maybe don't do maximum damage, right? Because I don't want to cross over that threshold where I've put too much damage and I've actually killed the pet I'm trying to capture. If I'm battling, the opposite is true. I'm going to put in my hardest hitters, or ones that have skills that I think would be advantageous to basically beating the opponent. So there's that bit of strategy or bit of tactics work that's a part of the whole battle pet part of the game. It's for folks who are kind of familiar with tabletop games, especially tabletop war games. There's this sort of rock paper scissors aspect to the gameplay, if you know what I mean. So certain pets, as Grid pointed out, are stronger against other classes of pets. And what you can find on some of the resources we'll talk about later are actually tables that line this out. So they'll show a particular type of pet family and show whether it is better has an attack bonus against certain other families, or is weaker against other families, or is basically neutral against other families. And that's part of these kind of tables, and that kind of knowledge is part of what you can use to plan your battles or your approach to capturing.
I think Izzy had a comment.
Yes, I just want to make a little comment regarding what you guys have been talking about, how certain class of or family of pets are better against certain other families. The other thing I also noticed when I look at my pets, some of them have actually varied abilities. So it's not so much that that one pet is good versus one family and poor against another family, but it also depends on which of the skills the pet has. So for example, if you look on my screen, I have here my Corehound pet, right? And if I look at the actual ability that it has, it will tell me that it's, for example, this Scratch is very effective versus undead, but poor versus humanoids, right? But if I move up to his level 20 ability, then it says it's actually good versus mechanicals, but poor versus critter. So I think that's the other thing you want to look at is how versatile your particular pet is, and not only just look at just the family, but look at their abilities too, because sometimes that will give you a good mix. For example, that's why I like my mechanical, like Grit said earlier, that one of the suggestion is to pick up a mechanical pet first, and I think that's because it's versatile. Because if you look at the 3 different skills that my particular one has, see, the first one is good versus magic, but poor versus undead. The second one is good versus aquatic, but poor versus dragonkin. And then the third one is a totally different combination. So with that one pet, you're actually, can battle versus 3 different ones, but then you want to avoid with 3 other different classes, families. So that's what you want to look at also. That's what I want to make comment of.
Oh, and to dovetail on that too, in paying attention, there are pets that have very unique abilities as well that might not have anything to do with damaging. Some of them have special abilities to kind of swap out in a particular way. So what you'll find is in pet battling, you're trying to decide as you're putting together teams for different purposes, especially for battling, what combo of pets and their particular abilities, not just their strengths and weaknesses, but what kind of special abilities they might have. So, for example, there are some pets that will do an attack that's kind of like team-wide. So it'll kind of go between sessions, so you can swap out pets, but their effect is kind of going on, either to heal or to do damage to the other team. So there are particular things like that you take into consideration as well as you're trying to plan your team in an upcoming battle.
Yeah, like my Phoenix here, if you notice the second one ability is actually not a attack ability at all, but it's a self-healing type of ability, right? So instead of attacking for one round, you can heal yourself. So basically, because it is a Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah, there are certain pets, certain races of pets, or classifications of pets that are self-healing. There are some, and typically there are certain pets like the humanoids do pretty well against the dragonkins in general. The flying ones do pretty well against the water ones and that kind of thing. The mechanicals do pretty well. I think the humanoids do pretty well also against the undead, or the other way around. But there are, as you say, sometimes it varies among one pet, and sometimes it's pretty much the same. And you use different strategies. So depending on if you're going to capture a pet, or you're going after a particular thing, and then again it changes when you go to a pet tamer, because you've got to size up the pet tamer. And who they have, and so it does take a little preparation. So, if you could go to, why do I do this, and why do you do this, Jerry? Actually, Jerry gave me my very first pet. He gave me a frog, and this little frog just followed me around, and I really didn't understand what it was, because I was early in the game, and it was just my companion who watched me die, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And then, once I figured out how to keep alive myself, it was kind of fun. It's cute. You can certainly use it for making machinima. Now, I find out that it also will give your tune XP. It gives your tune achieves. And as we've been saying, it helps with the bigger game because your head is going through the same thing and strategizing and thinking. So it's sort of a mirror to what's happening in the bigger game in a lot of ways. And so the thinking is the same as what you have in the bigger game. Now, another real good reason is it's something to do while you're waiting, because you can't really quest while you're waiting to go into a raid or to go into a dungeon. You can't turn in quests. So some people farm, right? It's what you do while you're waiting to be called at that 15, 20 minutes that you're kind of waiting around. You can be fighting with your little pets. And it gives you what I like to call the Fiorito moment, because you get a lot of that shine, that fiery thing that comes up when we all level. It happens often, and it happens sometimes you'll get two pets that will level at the same time, so you get two of those little Fiero moments. Jerry, why do you pet battle?
Well, I like the I guess the collection aspect of it. For me, I'm planning to get more into the PvP battling once I can get more of my pets up to that higher level, to 25. I'm getting pretty close. But in the meantime, it's I like the travel and exploration part of the game, which is part of the appeal for fishing for me. But pet battling and pet collecting does that too. So once you start to learn about this aspect of the game and the different pets, you'll find that, there's some pets that are very, very, very common throughout Azeroth. Rabbits, for example, are just seem to be just about everywhere. But you start to learn about these other mythical pets that are extremely rare, and they only kind of pop up under certain conditions in certain areas, or you have to run a particular dungeon and to get a particular drop. So there's that kind of excitement, that kind of collection excitement too, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go on this special quest, personal quest, to this part of maybe this little corner of Azeroth that I never would have really visited otherwise. So I get that experience, that kind of novelty of travel experience, which is kind of cool. And just the the accomplishment of kind of adding to the collection of pets and kind of building up the achieves. So for me, that's that's a keen part of it, of the experience.
Right, the battle pet achieves, and we do have a slide that kind of shows your achieves. Again, I'm not real happy with the fact that Blizzard doesn't give the achieves to the guild, but there are some interesting achieves, and if you look at this slide, they're kind of in. When you open up your achievement book or whatever it's called, you have your pet battles, and they're in 3 categories. So you can achieve according to the collection, which is what Jerry was talking about, the aspect of collecting. Then there's the battling, which of course is such a draw, and which kind of teaches you a little bit of the bigger game, and then the whole leveling, and you get all these achieves for it. And the other thing, what you were saying about the collection, I was thinking about. In terms, I'm a teacher, so in terms of thinking of little kids, years ago people used to collect stamps. Of course, people don't have stamps anymore because we have email, but they had stamp collections and baseball card collections, and there's something that happens, and there's a reason for collecting. It's the aesthetic and it's fun. But for a little kid or even an older child, you're sorting, you're categorizing. And I was thinking, a few years ago I was teaching middle school, and I taught they had to create a database, and I had to teach them the concept of a database. And of course, the whole concept of a database is and I had them do their collections, because that was the easiest thing for me to do. Like whatever, and a lot of the kids had, the baseball cards or an address book. That was an easy one, because I didn't want them to have to research. I just wanted them to do a database, and the concept of fields and unique identifiers and categorizing and sorting and reporting reporting, and all of the things that you would do in a collection. Those are cool skills. They're good skills to know and to understand. And I think it kind of jogged something in my head that if I was teaching the construction of databases.
Oh, even building spreadsheets.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
the same stuff. Yeah.
Because it kind of comes into play. It might make a cool little 60-second machinima to introduce the concept of building a database. Just a thought. But you can level in these various ways, and hopefully Blizzard will soon see that they should also give Guild Achieves. So, moving right along to the pet trainers, battling pet trainers. Have you battled many, Jerry?
I started off when I started the pet battling. I was really kind of focused on that, and somewhere along the way I got distracted. So I would have to go back through the quest chain to figure out what the next battle pet trainer I need to take on. But I will get back there eventually, because there are those achieves I've noticed that you've really piled on recently, where as you're battling the different pet tamers or trainers in the different areas, you'll get a kind of a master of this area achieve. So like master tamer of the Eastern Kingdoms, and then and then finally of Azeroth overall. So.
Right, and this is kind of a little bit of what Izzy was showing before. When you battle a pet trainer, oh gosh, I'm trying. I'm experiencing some lag in the game, but I wanted to log in with my other tune, because she happens to be posed right there at a particular pet trainer. But when you battle a pet trainer, that trainer has 3 pets, and you have to select three pets, and you select them pretty much how Izzy described it a little earlier. You look very carefully at their abilities, and you have to inspect, again, that whole inspection of your opponent. Maybe this helps to do PvP. I'm not sure, because I don't do a lot of PvP, but you do a careful inspection of the trainer to make sure that you can overpower that pet trainer. And now you're looking at not only the pet and classification, but you click on those little arrows to see, is this going to be good against his undead or his critter or whatever. And then you select those 3 pets. And the tougher ones, you're probably going to lose a couple times, but you'll see the pattern. You'll see this pattern develop, and you might do something like sacrifice a pet in order to get something later. Like you'll put up a pet that you know is going to get beat because that pet trainer slashes out and stuns him, so you can't do anything. So you have to switch. So you sacrifice a pet so that you switch to the one that you really want, rather than starting out with that one, because then it's going to be stunned and you won't be able to do anything. You're going to lose the battle.
So because you just pointed this out, I'm going to take a moment to quickly point out that what Grid is describing to me are a lot of the same sort of kind of critical thinking, kind of game dynamics that you might oftentimes hear highlighted in games like chess, right? Where you pursue a tactic sometimes of sacrifice of a resource. You know that you're going to lose a piece, but you're thinking ahead several steps and saying, okay, well, I'm going to lose this piece, but in the process of losing that piece, I'll gain, kind of a tactical or strategic advantage. And it's the same sort of kind of thinking that I think Grid is describing here when you're trying to plan out an encounter with a pet battle trainer. And later, this gets applied to PvP, but your first exposure to this is kind of in fighting the trainers. But there's that kind of, again, a kind of thinking ahead, that kind of critical thinking, short and medium, long-term thinking that this exercises. So that's a really fun part of the battling as well.
Yeah, and I'm outside Zinta right now. If you want me to show. Should I show
Oh,
that
you're gonna battle a pet? Cool.
Sure, I can go ahead and go after the trainer.
Okay, first inspect his pets. See what he's got before you do that.
On the ground?
So so click on one of his pets,
Yeah.
and it'll say inspect and journal. Show and journal. Okay, now you can take a look at what this pet is. It's a beast, and he's good at hitting critters. Okay, so that's his ability. Now look at the next one. And then show and journal. And this is a critter, and he's really good at hitting undeads. And now, so you know you have a critter, a beast, and what's the third one?
Oh, he only has 2.
Oh, he only has 2. Okay, so let's see. So
So
now,
you'd want to consult the table.
yeah. Mr. Chili's pretty good. He's a level 2. I go with 2.
So I have these 2. I have Mr. Chili and Gazruki.
Okay, so those are your 2 highest ones, so go with them. Okay. And they're at full health.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. You should have. Okay, that's okay. Just accept.
I know. Grid's in it to win it.
Yeah. That is one of the things that yeah, you'll learn through experience that every so often you might lose track of the fact that your pets aren't leveled up or healed up, and that usually leads to sadness in an encounter. So here we go, battling the pet trainer.
Ah.
Okay.
There it is. First opponent down.
Okay, now his second one comes out. Now you know you have 2 pets.
Right, so if you're looking to level up a pet, now the thing to point out too, in order for a pet to get experience from an encounter, it has to partake. So if it sits on the side, it's not going to
So switch.
get experience.
A
So you
little
switch.
blue, a little blue arrow. Switch your pet. Okay, so now you want this one's going to get some leveling abilities. Okay.
One shot at him.
Yeah. Finish it.
Yay, you won.
I got double. I got double.
Now the thing with
Look,
there,
they
there
both
it is. Taking a
level.
while.
Fierito.
Now the thing with leveling pets as well, and again that's another aspect of this whole process is that okay, well once you decide you really like this stuff and you want to level up some teams, there are ways to level pets more quickly, and generally speaking, the tougher the opponents that you survive, the more experience and the faster leveling for your pets. So one strategy that I've taken on is to, if I want to level a pet quickly, is I'll build a team of, including 2 of my highest level pets, and then the pet that I really want to focus on leveling up, will go and take on opponents that are several levels higher than that low level pet.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that pet has to do is survive an encounter to get the experience. So that's something to be aware of in this whole.
It's like power leveling.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can power level your pets.
Now, when you battle a pet, you don't a pet trainer, tamer. You don't get a pet. Sometimes you get little bags of goodies like pet biscuits and
the bandages.
Bandages, yes. Little thing, maybe a stone that'll help you level up one of your pets. So you get goodies. Sometimes they're useless, like a rusty old cage or something. But you never really get one of their pets. The idea is to beat them, is to beat those particular pets with any pet tamer. Okay.
Now, as we touched upon, the healing of the pets is really important. So especially if you're kind of focused on collecting, it's very easy sometimes to forget that, oh, geez, I've been fighting these guys, this particular team for a while, and if you don't heal them up, bad things will happen. All right, you won't do so well in your next encounter. But there's several ways to kind of do that. There's the pet bandages that we just mentioned that you can that you can end up collecting over time that can help. There's also the in-game heal your pets function, which is on the pet screen in the upper right. Revive your battle pets. Now there's an 8-minute cooldown on that one.
If you show slide 14, it'll give you all the. Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Okay,
so there's an 8-minute cooldown on that, and what we'll do is heal and resurrect all your pets to 100% health. Now, one tactic if you're doing collecting especially, and you've got to, you're starting to build up your stable of pets, is that you can also adapt by swapping them out. So let's say you've healed up your pets, you're still on your cooldown of 8 minutes, you've had a rough encounter, and your first team is really taking a thrashing, so you might just swap them out, right? And put another 3 in, and that way you can continue to collect and battle until the cooldown is done, and you can revive them all again. Another tactic, going back to the fact that you can use stable masters, right, in these major cities and towns, to heal your pets up to 100% for like 10 silver. One tactic that I like as going into an area is to try to find a town that has a stable master in it, and base my collecting out from that town. So I can go out, do my battling, do my collecting, use my revive, my 8-minute cooldown, and then just pop back into town really quick, right? And this is usually, I'll do this if I want to really keep my A team front and center, or if I'm leveling a particular set of pets, I'll usually use this tactic, and it makes it just much more quick. I don't have to wait for that 8-minute cooldown. I can just pop into town, pay my 10 silver, and then get back out and start collecting again.
And then some of those, like the aquatics, they have that self-healing. That the self-healing you can do during battle, but the basic heal, the 8-minute cooldown heal, you can only do after a battle's over, and bandages you can only do once it's over. So the aquatics, the dragonkins, the mechanicals they can come back. They have the self-heal ability, and the undead have a self-heal ability. So depending on who you're going after, it might be good to have one of those on your team, because some of them can actually heal the team to some degree. Yeah.
Oh, and we talked about, mentioned really briefly too, that there is the option once you're into an encounter to wave the white flag, right, and to bow out. Sometimes what will happen is you'll go up against a pet in the wild, for example, and you decide, oh wait, I'm really way over my head. My team's not going to win this at all, or it's a poor quality pet, and you're really not interested in fighting it and taking the damage, or capturing it. You might just bow out. Now the thing with bowing out is that all your pets in that team, if you decide to forfeit, will take, like, I think a 10% hit to their health, which isn't huge if they're topped off. But that's something to know, that if you do get into an encounter, you can bow out if you're willing to take the hit on the on the health.
Or if you're getting called into a dungeon or a raid, you just kind of quit.
Right.
And the little white flag, you can see down the UI that shows up for the pet battle is down at the bottom of this little screen, and that little white flag is you just click on it, and this very sad sound comes up and says you've forfeited this battle. So you can forfeit it to a tamer when you're going to lose anyway, when you're going into a dungeon or whatever, or you just or with just battling a pet that you find out there. I think we can talk a little bit about the battle stone, because that's a cool thing to get, which is, oh gosh, I don't remember. I think it's slide number 13. There is a way to you get lucky. It's pretty much random whether you pick up an and you're going to start looking, and you're not going to go for the pores. If you have pores, unless it's an unusual thing, you're not going to get it. You're just going to move on to get the uncommons. But every once in a while, you can get this. It looks like this. It's a upgrading battle stone. Some of them are specific, like you can only use it for a dragonkin, or you can only use it for a humanoid. And when you use it, you can then upgrade that particular pet to be a rare, which of course makes it stronger and better. You can purchase for justice points the same stone, but I think it only goes to uncommon. Like you can bring a poor to an uncommon. I've not seen one that'll bring it to a rare. Have you, Jerry?
I haven't, and I haven't been fortunate enough to have a lot of those battle stones drop on me, so I don't have a lot of experience there. Okay,
but but choose carefully. I kind of like when I first started doing it, it was like, oh, this one's cute. I'm going to do this one, and then I didn't have anything that was flying on my team, and that's really what I should have done. I should have upgraded a flying one so that I would have more variety. And sometimes they're general. You can upgrade anything, and sometimes they're specific to a particular kind of pet, like a flying pet or a humanoid pet. So but again, choose carefully. And when you upgrade them, you lose 2 levels. So I don't really spend a whole lot of time leveling up, the greens and the yellows. I only level my blues.
Yeah, and something you'd mentioned earlier. I mean, some of these pets are very rare to begin with, but in terms of finding them in quantity or at certain times of the year, when you find them, sometimes what you'll find is that their quality tends to be lower level, right? So to find a rare pet that is also rare in quality can be very difficult. You might at best find a poorer or a common one, and that might be one instance, right, where you might want to use a stone to kind of upgrade the quality level in a pet that is going to be extremely difficult to find in its kind of rare state, or impossible to find in a rare state.
Izzy, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just talking about the stones, and going back to what you were saying earlier, that the one battle pet that you have that is a poor or common quality, but you just won't get rid of it because it's actually a little bit difficult to obtain. So I think that's where these stones come in, just like what you're saying. If you don't want to get rid of it because it's poor, you don't want it because it's a poor quality, so you can use one of those stones to instantly convert it to a rare. So, and I have been fortunate that I've actually have collected 4 of those stones, and I think for me, for the most part, they dropped in LFRs or scenarios in the treasure bags. So if you look at my screen here, I have 2 that actually one will convert a flying one, and then also a dragonkin. And I also just recently picked up one for an undead. So they're out there, and you can just save them until you have a pet that you really like and just convert it into a rare. And I've actually done that to a couple of my pets.
Yeah, they're not easy to come by, those stones. It's good to know you have them. Maybe I can make a deal with you.
Unfortunately, they are account bound. You can't give them to anyone else.
Speaking of deals, that's something that we haven't kind of mentioned yet, but that's also kind of a crossover to the auction house, is that some of the pets that you can acquire can be boxed and traded or sold. As Grid mentioned, there's a frog that I found, or a toad, that had kind of gifted her early on. But there is, if you kind of haunt the auction house, there's also a battle pet market on the auction house, and as you can predict, the more uncommon or rare the pet might be, or the more difficult to acquire, the higher the prices you can get for them. So there's also that aspect of it. It can be a way to also earn a little bit of extra income in the auction house.
Right, so that's when you start organizing those pets that you've collected, because you have so many, and of course we talked about the whole
hoarding pets.
Hoarding, yeah, yeah, no pun intended. You can only collect 3 of any one kind. So if 2 of them are poor, get rid of them. And just focus
right,
on
because you don't want to come upon the rare one that you're looking for and not have a slot open for it.
Exactly.
Which is a heartbreaker. Yeah,
because you don't know until you're in battle whether it is going to be a rare or an uncommon. But so you can release them, and I have never caged any, but apparently you can cage them. I have received as a gift several. So as I said, Jerry gave me my very first little frog, who's now grown up, and I think he might even be a level 25 at this point.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So you can gift them, you can give them away, you can cage them and gift them, you can trade them, you can sell them, but the wild ones you cannot. They're account bound, but you can't really sell them or get rid of them. But I have gotten some really wonderful little gifts. I have a little elephant and a frog. The elephant isn't as tough as a cockroach, I have to say, um, although it's a lot cuter. I think I'm pretty wound up, except when we get to our resources page on where to get more about. Oh no, the PvP part. That's a part we
Yeah.
didn't talk about. Jerry, it's oh, maybe you and who's on here? Cheer or Kawapi or Malahi? Are
Millie,
you are you close to each other? Because I think we should have a PvP pet battle.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we didn't
Pet
talk
Master
about that.
still.
Which is,
Oh, there you are.
I think it's slide number 12, but it's having you
Let's take a
thing, then
look.
looking at a slide.
And I can swap out for some lower level ones too. I've got plenty of level 1s, level 2s, so I'll make it fair. Sort by level. So yeah, there's just kind of thinking out loud here. A couple things. One about caging your pets. Basically, the way you do that is you look at them over on the left-hand side menu, and you can right-click. The ones that are cageable will say put in a cage. So you just right-click on them, and you'll have a short pop-up that'll indicate that. There's also a sorting filter, which gets handy in circumstances like this, where again you're wanting to kind of pick out particular pets either by their family type or by their level, so you can sort them that way within the column as well. So here I've just sorted them by level because I want to find my lower level pets. Level 1. Okay, so let's pick out one level 1.
yeah, I'll just have level 1s.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'll bring out Cadbury, my rabbit.
No, not that type of PvP.
Oh. Sorry.
So basically the way to initiate PvP in the pet battle is you select your opponent, you can right click on the tune's icon in the upper left, and you'll see a pop-up option for a pet battle duel, which I'm doing now. So I'll kick that off. Cannot pet battle here. Why not?
Because you're inside Ogremar.
Oh.
I think you have to go outside of Ogremar to do it.
Yeah, deer fighting outside, huh? Okay.
Front
it out.
gates. Meet you outside the front gates at noon.
All right, let me go find him again.
Darn it.
Okay, so initiate the pet battle duel, which I'm sure it sends a challenge, right, that you have to
Yep.
accept. Okay.
Oh, you have a level 17?
Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, hold on. Let's I'm sorry. I brought him out, but I didn't put him on. Oh, that's bad. No. I'll forfeit. That was my bad, so it'd be poor form, too. Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Stop on my level 1.
I know, that would be terrible. Who would do that?
Yeah, I wonder who would ever do something like that.
Yeah, I wonder who would ever do something like that.
Well, the plus side, I would say that was probably a big motivation, I would suspect.
Yeah, I think it was.
Let me see here. Let me clear out.
So someone fueled someone else's obsession.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Move.
And see, Jerry has 3 options. I only have 2.
Yeah, you know what? This is interesting. So do you have your 2 slots filled?
Yeah, I have my 2 slots filled. Yeah,
Okay. So
both the level ones.
see, I've never tried to not have a slot filled, which is interesting. It doesn't look like I have the option to do that. So I'll just throw in 3 of my level ones.
Yeah, as long as they're all level ones, it's fine.
Put in Mui. And there we go. Okay, so there's my team. I'll put Cadbury up front. Initiate the dual invite. Dun dun dun. Okay.
So you do have to select which pet you want to go first.
Mm-hmm. Now, just a couple thoughts. So I'm looking at Millihi's pet, the hatchling. Now, this little buff here, the yellow arrows, indicates that it has a higher speed stat, right? So that's something I'm paying attention to. Well, usually what that means is it's going to have the first move or first attack advantage, and that becomes relevant later. There are some pets that will help offset that buff. So one special ability of a pet is to negate or to supersede the speed advantage of another pet. Alright, so I'm going to take Initiate Scratch, which is my level 1 attack ability.
Kick him in the teeth, huh?
Ooh. Come on, Cadbury.
Come on! Now Millihi's hatchling has a huge advantage on me. First, it's got speed, so first attack ability is very, yes, and he's rare, so he's got better health. The other thing too is that he's got a multiple attack, if you noticed. So every 1 attack advantage, he's got, he can do multiple hits, which will do more damage. So these are the kinds of things, these are the kind of factors that you're looking for. Oh, come on, Cadbury. You can do it. Come on, come on.
Come on, Bunny. Usually the bunnies are pretty
so so close, down to 1.
Oh.
So there you go. That's a PvP battle. Now, we do have, let's see, we can select other pets. So let me go ahead and put Mui in for the finish. Now, usually what will happen, exactly, so what happens is that you'll swap out a different pet on your team, one that's fresher and can take more damage. Ooh, big rock.
Looks like Malahi has some collection of rares there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Come
Whoa,
on. Muy caliente. Let's go. Muy caliente.
Wow. There it is.
Yeah!
Okay, so so one of the dynamics that's going on here is that you're constantly swapping out. Again, ideally you get to a point where you have all 3 slots, and you're going into an encounter with, with a set or a team that's going to kind of maximize, your attack advantage or your defense advantage to kind of wear down an opponent. Ooh, look at that. That multi-attack advantage is so huge, especially when you get first move. So you get a little bit of experience. Like we mentioned before, you can get XP from doing pet battles. Your pets also, of course, get XP and level up. The other thing that we didn't mention is that you can also acquire currency, right? So every so often, as you're fighting not just PvP, but also capturing pets in the wild, you can collect lesser charms of good fortune. So keep that in mind.
Okay, so basically that's it. I don't know if we have any questions. We do have a slide of some resources. I like the Warcraft Pets resource. You may choose to register your account, and then it kind of helps you keep track. There's a leaderboard, and it kind of ranks you. That's the one I use a lot, because if I'm curious as to where a pet is, I can go and find out exactly which location, the specific conditions that might be, like for example, the little gorilla. He only comes out when it rains. And I didn't know that. Like, I kept looking for this gorilla. And then finally I read about the rain, and then I had to wait for it to rain in that particular place so that I could capture him.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that, like in desert areas, they only come out during sandstorms, for example, so you have to kind of go back and wait for the sandstorm. There's others that are only available at certain times of the year. This is similar with fishing, where there's certain critters that don't come out except at summer or during winter. So that's part of what makes the collecting and the hunting fun as well, is when you kind of key on those things and go, oh, it's summertime, it's time, let's go find this thing.
Right. And then, of course, there is the Curse client does have a variety of battle pet mods that'll help you track them, tell you whether this is an upgrade or not. So it just kind of helps you to move along as you approach something, or let's say you go into battle. It'll tell you right away without you having to go and check, because you have, a couple hundred pets by this time, and it'll tell you right away if this is an upgrade or not. So now you're going to try and capture this. You're going to modify your strategy a little bit. If you've already got them, it'll tell you you've already got these, no upgrades kind of thing. So the Curse client does have mods that are specific to battle pets. I know you have a favorite site that you use, Jerry. Isn't that the Pets of Warcraft, or is it the web?
What I've found really helpful, because again, I'm kind of been focused a lot on collecting, are the map-based locators. Mm-hmm. So the two that I liked, the Wowhead Battle Pet Maps, and especially Pet Battle Arena site, allows you, so there's a map, it's map-based interface of Azeroth, and you just click on a location or an area, and they'll tell you what pets are located in that area, the kinds that are. It will highlight the rares, right, or the unique pets to that area, and give you specifications about them. And so it just makes, for me, because I'm really kind of visually based in how I conceptualize things, it just makes a lot of sense. It really is helpful for me to know, okay, physically where is this located in a particular area, and it just makes helping to find them a lot easier. And it will also, I think, Pet Battle Arena, their maps will also show you the locations where these pets tend to spawn within an area. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that makes, going around and finding and collecting them a lot easier.
So I think that's about all I have. If somebody has any questions, or Jerry, do you have anything else? Oh, you know what we didn't cover? The gold-footed ones. Like you saw the green paw print, and if you're going into Pandaria, you will see the gold paw print. That is, once you reach a particular level and have accomplished certain things, then you are eligible to fight these gold pawed pets. You will not capture them. There's about a dozen of them. I don't know. You have to win battle with all of them. It's kind of a quest, and once you win battle with all of them, the reward is one of those gold pawed pets, which I don't have yet.
Yet.
So I don't know if there's anything else, or anybody has any questions.
One other thing too that's kind of fun that I like, and again, if this is and you mentioned this earlier too about I found that I tend to like particular pets for whatever reason. They're fun, and they become like little companions, little friends that you're kind of, especially if you're doing a lot of questing, right? That are coming along. There is a way also to kind of personalize them a little bit. And that is, you can, again, if you're in the menu for your pets, mark them as favorites so that's sorting them easier. But you can also right-click and rename your pets. Right, so I did that earlier with Cadbury the rabbit. Dieter, who's one of my favorite pets, is the dark moon monkey. But you can go in and kind of give your pet a unique name. So that's kind of a nice aspect of, or kind of a fun aspect of the process too, of having pets. You can name them.
Ah.
And you can make them shiny as well.
Yes, you can shine them up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I might have more to report once I get them once I top off a team at least of 325s. I'm intending to get more into the PvP stuff, and I might have more to share there. But
Take on Grid.
Yeah, Grid's got a whole stable full of 25s. I mean, it's just amazing. She is clearly the guild pet battle master. So if you've got pet battling questions, she's the one with the experience. So.
I think there's quite a few pet collectors in there.
Oh, I know that we've definitely got some
Yeah,
hardcore pet collectors in our midst. So
maybe we should have some kind of an event to celebrate our pets.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's much of a celebration as it is competition, but we have been playing with the idea of perhaps, especially if there's interest, kind of doing a guild pet battle tournament of some sort. So something particular to IB where you can gather together, set up a tournament type of competition with some kind of prize, maybe a prize pool or something like that. We're still sort of playing around with the idea, but if you might be interested in that, kind of pipe in and share any ideas that you might have, or at least kind of indicate whether you might be interested in something like that. We could probably pull something together and make it sort of a fun guild-wide event.
Well, I just wanted to chime in real quick because 5.4 is coming out, and I don't know if you guys have been reading up on it. And it seems that there's going to be something called a Celestial Tournament.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
You have to have, it's saying that 30 pets at level 25 to be able to enter.
Wow. Well, Grid might be there. I'm not. That's for sure.
I'm looking now. How many do I have? I have 31. Woohoo! Oh. I just made it.
See, so we could have guild representation, and it seems to happen once a week.
Wow.
And,
so it's going to be kind of a regular thing, huh? Like the fishing tournaments. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It might be.
I can just see it. We're going to have to have somebody go ahead and Camtasia it with a soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool to know. Now that's come. It hasn't started yet, correct? Something that's coming.
It's going to be coming in 5.4, and I don't think we know exactly when 5.4 is going to happen, but.
Oh, and the fun thing, of course, is that with every upgrade or update, there's new things. Just like with the rest of the game, there's new things added. So. I'm sure that we'll have new pets introduced as well, because that typically tends to be the case. And looks like, 34 additional pets coming in 5.4 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think the maximum now that you can have is what, 400?
Only 650 in the journal.
650 total. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I think that that about wraps it up.
Yeah, but as always, if you have pets or pet-related concerns, again, I'd say Grid is far and away the undisputed, at this point, master of pet battling and collecting, based on her achieves. But if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. I'll share what I know, certainly. Happy collecting and happy pet battling.
join the pet club.
All right, everyone.
Pet
Thanks for
Walkers
watching.
Club. Okay.
As always, if you have questions, feel free to look up Grid and Shaomai in-game. So, goodbye, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Bye.